Okay, yeah, we're live. Hey guys, my name is Jacob Reed, and welcome back to my channel. I'm here with Vince Onola,
What's going
and
on?
hey, we're gonna be talking about the newest episode of The Mandalorian, season 2, episode 5. Uh, I think this is probably my favorite episode so far. Uh, do you agree?
Totally, man. I think it's really good. I really liked the third episode.
Oh yeah, the one with Bo-Katan.
The Iris, yeah, that was a good one. But this one was good in its own way, definitely.
Yeah, I gotta turn off my phone. Hold on. Okay, so this episode was written and directed by Dave Filoni, and I was really looking forward to this because he's the guy who led the Clone Wars. So I was kind of expecting this one to have Ahsoka in it from from the beginning. Ahsoka, of course, she returns. She makes a triumphant return, and it was hyped up a lot in the media and in the past two episodes. So I was expecting like a big slow build up and her to appeal, but she just appeals in like the first minute of the episode.
Yeah, that one took me by surprise for sure. I just like turned on my TV and I was ready to watch it, and like out of nowhere her the lightsabers came over the screen. I was like, "Oh, I guess we're just right into it." So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, she just kind of comes out of nowhere and kills a bunch of bad guys. I thought it was a pretty good entrance.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then wait, do you know what planet this is? Like,
I believe it's called Corvus. Corvus?
oh, so it's not the same one Yoda was on?
No, not
Okay,
Dagobah.
it kind of looks similar. Anyway, Mando lands on this planet, and he just kind of like walks into the city. Like they don't even check him or anything. He just kind of walks in, and I feel like there should have been harder for him to walk in. Like they didn't have
I
any border security.
I did think the same thing, but he asked if he was a member of the guild, and obviously they're trying to kill Ahsoka at the same time, so they probably just wanted him to get in right away uh, and propose the idea to him to kill the Jedi. So I think they were
Yeah,
just desperate to get her out.
yeah. I mean, so would I. I don't think anything any of them stand at a chance in the beginning. Like I feel like they knew it was a losing battle.
Yeah.
So we meet Morgan Elsbeth. Is that how you pronounce it?
I'm not too sure.
Well, she's like a former Jedi who went evil after Order 66. Kind of like,
Was she a Jedi?
yeah.
I think it said she was just a citizen of a town or something, and then it got destroyed from the Clone Wars.
Oh, I could have sworn Azoka said it was she was like an Inquisitor or something. I don't know.
Really? Oh.
I think so. Because otherwise, like, why would some normal citizen be able to stand a chance against Azoka?
I think it was just like a like you know how Thrawn. I don't know if you saw Rebels or not, but when
I
you
only saw
see
season one of that.
yeah, season three, Thrawn is introduced, and like he trains for combat. So like he stands, I guess, a little bit against the Jedi, but like there's no way he can win. But he could definitely like hold a fight, just like that lady did.
Yeah, and she wants him to kill. She wants the Mandalorian to kill Azoka, and if he does, he'd get like this big steel thing.
Yeah, he gets some Beskar, which is worth a lot of money.
Yeah, isn't that like a Mandalorian like weapon?
Yeah, it belongs to the Mandalorian, the Beskar steel.
Yeah. So he finds Ahsoka outside of town, and she attacks him before he tells her that Bo-Katan sent him, and because they knew each other from the Clone Wars, and he shows old Baby Yoda. And I don't know. I think my favorite scene of the episode was when she talks to him through like the mind powers.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I
Yeah,
think that was my favorite scene. Yeah, and she kind of finds out who he is, which has been a question throughout the series. Like, we find out his name is Grogu, and
what do you think about that name?
I mean, I felt like any name would be a letdown. Like, no
Yeah,
matter what name it is, if his name was literally Baby Yoda, I feel like that in itself would be a letdown. But I like the way they dropped it. Like, it wasn't some big reveal. She's
Mhm.
just like, oh, yeah, by the way, that's his name. I felt like that was the right way to say that.
Yeah. I was thinking actually like before I even saw the episode, and I didn't even think it would be revealed in this episode, but I was like, oh, I wonder where Baby Yoda like came from. Like, why was he on that one planet? You know, in the first episode of season one. I wonder
Yeah.
what I was like, what put him there? And you know, obviously there's still some questions about like who took him from the temple and what happened in those years, but
Well, I always
um,
had a theory that all the Yoda people, their names started with Y just because like Yoda and then Yaddle.
Mhm.
I guess that's just a stupid theory, but I don't know. It always stuck with me, but I guess that's been disproven,
I guess
unfortunately.
so. Yeah.
And he was raised in the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. So I guess he like always was a Jedi, I guess, or
Yeah.
training to be at least. He was like a Padawan,
Yeah.
but he
Because I
was
know
hidden.
they usually take the kids from a young age, so they probably just had him hang out there
Isn't
and
that a
then
little fucked up when you think about it?
kind of. I mean, uh, I guess I'm sure there's like some release form that is irrelevant to the story that the parents have to sign or something like that. But I mean,
Yeah,
you know, I don't think they're just taken.
yeah,
Because I mean, you saw what Qui-Gon did with Anakin. It was Anakin's choice of whether or not he wanted to go. So
yeah. I know, but like a lot of these kids are younger than him, so they don't really have a choice in the matter.
that's true. Yeah, I wonder. That's a good question, actually.
Hmm. Well, anyway, after Order 66 happened, Grogu, I'm just gonna keep calling him Baby Yoda. He was
Yeah, go on,
hidden.
man.
Yeah, he was hidden, and he was taught to suppress his force powers, which is why he doesn't use it that much, even though he was trained all those years ago. He's kind of afraid to use it now. So, like, when Ahsoka was like, "Hey, try to catch this ball," he didn't really use it because he was like too afraid to use his powers. But
Hmm.
he only caught it like when Mando did it, when Mando gave him that little metal thing.
Yeah.
And I guess that means like the Mandalorian's the only one that Baby Yoda trusts.
Hmm.
You know, he
Yeah,
kind of has
I
trust.
figured that from the beginning, right when she started. I'm like, I already know, like he's not going to comply with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I kind of had
So
that gut feeling.
yeah, I like the dynamic between Baby Yoda and Mando. I don't know. They have like a nice like father son dynamic, kind of.
Yeah.
So Ahsoka agrees to train Baby Yoda, but only if Mando helps her defeat Elsbeth and her army. So I feel like it's the same thing every episode.
I kind of like that though. I mean, it's kind of like those old Jedi video games that you used to play, where you have one main overarching goal, and then you'd have to go on all these side quests to different planets. I kind of screw with it
Yeah,
because
I like it because it's
it's
something different every episode. You
well
know?
that and it kind of broadens the galaxy too. It shows like there's like I think this episode for me the main thing I took away, like especially when she revealed Admiral Thrawn, and we can go to that later, but I think what it really showed me is how much potential they have in like this new type of live action storytelling. Like I just realized I was like, geez, like they can pretty much do anything.
Yeah, like every episode takes place on a different planet or like a different spaceship or something.
Hmm.
So like it's kind of like the Star Trek in a way. I know you haven't seen that, but like with Star Trek, every episode they go to a different planet and there's always something weird going on. I kind of like the episodic structure of it.
Yeah, I think that eventually I hope that they kind of stick to a more linear story in season three because I know they're already writing season three and like while I do like hopping around from here to there, I think eventually they kind of have to focus on one main path for the Mandalorian to follow
Yeah,
because it kind of gets like, and I know what you're saying, it starts to get a little like, oh, now he's going here and there, but at the end of the day, it's still fun, and I think each episode is cool in its own way. I think the one episode I just like two episodes that I didn't really like that much were episode 6 from season 1 where they were doing that little the Republic heist on the jail. You know what I'm talking about?
oh, the one with Ming Na Wen. Oh,
Uh,
oh, was that?
the one where he had to get with the crew and like they had to get the guy out of the jail cell.
Oh yeah, that one was kind of forgettable. I
Yeah, that
kind of
was
forgot about that episode. But
yeah. It just kind of like it dragged on in my opinion. And then one more I didn't really like that much was episode 2, mainly because I had to wait a week, whole week for it. But I feel like once you watch season 2, just like straight through,
oh, is that the Frog
it'll
Lady one?
yeah, the Frog Lady one, yeah.
I thought that was okay.
It was all right. I mean, I think once we watch season 2, like just completely through, it'll probably the pacing will be a lot better because you can't have it to be like crazy the whole time.
Yeah.
It's a slower episode for sure, but
Well, like I said, like every episode has the same. Not only is it like he goes to a different place, but it's like the guest star of the week is like, I'll do this for you. I'll give you this little piece of information if you do this side quest for me.
exactly, and that's how video games go. Like those old little RG. What are they called? Like
Yeah.
RGP.
RGBs,
Yeah, RGBs.
RG
Yeah, yeah,
something. I don't
something
know.
like that.
I'm
Yeah,
not really into video games,
you know
but
what I'm talking about, though.
yeah, I know you're talking. I've played a
Yeah,
few.
Yeah,
So they have this nice little like action scene where Ahsoka defeats the guards and
that was probably
Man-
my favorite part. That was a really cool
yeah,
area of the episode.
and Mando frees the citizens that were oppressed by evil government, like that Asian man, because him and his family. I think was he the leader of that town before that woman took over.
I have no idea. I wonder because like he was given the they like put something on him, some cloak or whatever. So I'm assuming.
Yeah, and he was given quite a lot of screen time. I feel like he was important.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it was only important to this episode, but I don't. I like the standoff Mando had with Lang, who was the mercenary
Hmm.
hired by Elspeth. It was kind of like a spaghetti western where they were kind of like standing on opposite ends of the street. You know, like those cowboy movies in
Totally.
the 60s.
That was like the most Western reference yet in the Mandalorian, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a lot like Clint Eastwood. I don't know if you've seen those movies, but
I haven't no.
it reminded me a lot of that. And then while that's happening, Ahsoka fights Elspeth, and the fight they had reminded me a lot of Kill Bill, which was kind of like a samurai movie.
Hmm.
And I feel like this episode of Mandalorian kind of was influenced by samurai movies, a lot of Japanese movies. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
Star Wars itself was influenced by samurai movies. I remember like watching
Yeah,
a video on George Lucas, and he liked them a lot, and like a lot of the inspiration came from that.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so Ahsoka's fighting Horn. She's like, "Where's Admiral Thrawn?" Now, I don't really know who that is because I haven't seen most of Rebels. Can you
I
explain
saw
to those guys?
totally, man. Like I saw all 4 seasons of Rebels because like before Clone Wars, I was just kind of bored and I was like binge watching TV shows, and like Clone Wars and Rebels were two of them that I was binge watching. Um, and like Thrawn's like this blue guy. He's like, I think what's really cool about Thrawn is like most Imperial characters are like naive. Like their calculations will be very naive. And they let the rebels get away or whatever. But like Thrawn is like the one character I've seen in Star Wars that's like doesn't give him that leeway. He's very
He's
direct and
confident.
very confident, and he's always right. Like
Hmm.
he's a very smart character.
Now you say
Um,
he's a blue guy. Is he the same species as Carl Weathers' bitch?
no, I don't. No, he's not.
Oh, okay.
He's like it's a blue human with red eyes. That's what Thrawn looks like.
Oh,
And
oh,
then
yeah, I think I've seen him before.
yeah, so basically like him and this guy Ezra, who's a young Jedi, get jettisoned in a hyperspace, and like the end of Rebels shows like Ahsoka and this girl Sabine are going looking for them, and so that's kind of
Yeah.
like where the show that's where it ends. So I guess this Mandalorian's kind of like showing Ahsoka's picking up on that, and I think Ahsoka's gonna get her own show if I'm being honest.
I mean, technically, didn't Azoka already have one show? Like, I feel like the Clone Wars was kind of full show,
I was
but
like her Anakin and the Clones. That was definitely
yeah,
the centerpiece of that show. But I think that Ahsoka's gonna get her own live action. Her and Sabine.
I'd be open to that. I probably have to watch the rest of Rebels, like,
Yeah.
because like I was gonna finish it, but then like I canceled my Disney Plus after the Mandalorian ended the first time,
Hmm.
and then I just kind of never got back to it. But
Yeah.
I feel like after Mandalorian ends this time, because like I'm still gonna keep it because of the WandaVision show.
Hmm.
I'm probably gonna finish Rebels. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
I thought it was good.
I think it
The
was
animation's a little
really solid.
strange, but
Yeah, I agree, man. Like it's kind of weird. But like the story itself is a really good story.
yeah, I don't know. I've only seen season one, but I like that fight scene between Ezra and that white guy, the Inquisitor.
Yeah,
Yeah. So Ahsoka defeats Elspeth, but like, did she kill her?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
Because we don't really see any of that, and we don't see her like in prison or anything.
Well, I mean, Ahsoka
And
does need the information on Thrawn, so I'm wondering if she's gonna keep her alive to get more questions or whatever out of her. We'll see. But
yeah,
that's what I think. Like, I think, like I said, man, like this episode opened up so much possibility for directions that like they can go in a million directions right now. It's pretty much endless. And
well, and also another good spin-off we might get is the I feel like it was hinted at last episode with Cara Dune. I feel like we might have a spin-off of her and the Resistance. I don't know.
I think that I don't know if I like Cara Dune, but I don't know if she's if I'm being honest, I just couldn't see her having her own TV show. Maybe a TV show about the Resistance, and like she comes into the the picture through the Mandalorian show, like a crossover episode. But um,
You don't think she could carry a show?
I not the actress. I think the character of Cara
Yeah,
Dune.
that's what I mean. That's
I
what I
don't
mean.
I don't think there's enough there to make a whole entire TV show on her. And I kind of
Well,
feel the same way about Cassian Andor. I'm excited to see what they do because like he's one of those characters where it's like, well, I thought I kind of had everything figured out about him, but if they're gonna pull some strings, I'm always optimistic about what they can do.
when I
Different
heard that
characters.
Better Call Saul is going to be a thing, which is a prequel to Breaking Bad, and it's about a
Hmm.
spinoff of like a character I never thought would be able to carry his own spinoff, but he did, and it's great. So I feel like anything's possible now because he was always like a background, kind of a funny man, kind of a side character,
Hmm.
someone I liked, but like never thought he was like he could carry a show. But then I actually saw it, and it's pretty good. So
Yes,
I
man.
don't know. I feel like if they went through with it, and like the Cassian Andor thing was pretty good, then it might make me appreciate Rogue One even more. You know?
Yeah, exactly. I think the direction the Mandalorian's going right now is going to make me appreciate the sequels more, and I hope because like I guess they're not going to decanonize them anytime soon. So I want to like the movies, but in fact
They suck.
I just watched The Force Awakens last night, and like when I was done watching it, I'm like, what happened? Because The Force Awakens was a really really good movie. I enjoyed it probably more than episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's
It was
well. What
even
I
though
found,
it was a copy off of episode 4. Like that's a given, but it was a very enjoyable movie, and the characters, they each like Finn especially, like he was like the main character. Him and Ray were like interchangeably like the main character of the
they
story.
completely ruined Finn.
They ruined Finn. I didn't even like I haven't watched The Force Awakens in years, and like watching it really opened my eyes. Like
So when I saw The Force Awakens, I liked it a lot. And the Last Jedi, I was like, okay, I want to see where this is going. Because at the time, I didn't hate The Last Jedi. It was only until after Rise of Skywalker came out that I retrospectively hated all three movies.
I think I didn't I just The Last Jedi
I mean, and now I hate it because I
I
realized it was bullshit. Because like all the weird plot twists they did, it didn't really do anything because
exactly.
none of it mattered. So
It
why do it at all?
I think it was just made to be a shocking movie. And I think when I walked out of the theater that day, I was like, wow, that was insane. Like so much happened. And then after a few days of thinking about it, I'm like, I really didn't like that movie because like the way they handled Luke, like he
Yeah,
could
they
have
made Luke like a terrible person. You know, like
he could have been a dark character, but I think the motivation behind that and like the way that he came back, it wasn't cool in my opinion. Like him being a
well,
force projection, like that the force projection and then the Holdo maneuver just broke Star Wars to me because like it
the
just
thing with Luke,
so many plot holes with
the
that.
thing with Luke was like his whole story arc in Return of the Jedi was not giving up on people, and he knew that like he could turn Vader into a good guy.
Yeah,
And now we have him in the Last Jedi trying to kill Adam Driver for something he didn't even do yet.
I know
Like
exactly.
it just kind of went against it. And another way they ruined Return of the Jedi was bringing Palpatine back, and the whole thing of Return of the Jedi is Palpatine's dead. By bringing him back, it makes Vader's sacrifice useless.
I think they could have brought Palpatine back, but they did it in the wrong way. I think if they were to bring him back, they should have done it. That should have been the plot point of Episode 8, is trying to stop Palpatine from coming back and then them losing. Because like the middle act,
Kind of like Infinity War.
yeah, the middle act of a trilogy is always the heroes lose, and then the last episode is them coming back and winning. So I think that if they were to bring Palpatine back in the right way, they would have had to bring him back in Episode 8, and then Anakin would have had to manifest himself and back into existence and kill Palpatine himself. I think Rey killing Palpatine, like, it just doesn't, it doesn't make sense when you think of the whole story, 1 through 9. It doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
it doesn't, because she's just some like random girl came out of nowhere and she's like super powerful. But which is why I like bringing this back to the Mandalorian. That's why I like Ahsoka so much, because she didn't start out as powerful and competent as she did here.
And she was a
And
she was a
in
good
the
character.
in the full season of the Clone Wars, she was kind of, I don't know, she's kind of whiny and like kind of like Luke. She was kind of like
Annoying, yeah.
annoying and a little bit like not good yet. Like she had to like become more powerful as the series went on, which is
Exactly.
something I feel like Rey Neville had to go through.
Hmm. And they
Cause
did the same thing in Rebels too. You know, like the character Ezra definitely developed over time, over all
yeah,
4 seasons. You know.
yeah. And like, if a character has no flaws, and you don't have to see the character's everything, I can't relate to the character, and I can't like the character.
Hmm.
You know,
I agree.
I just
And
feel
also,
like,
like the explanation by J.J. Abrams, I think, is what broke it for me because he's like, well, Anakin did bring balance to the Force for 30 years. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you're telling me, you know, like a multi-thousand-year-old prophecy is going to lead up to someone bringing balance for 30 years? I think that's ridiculous, in my opinion. You know?
I don't know. J.J. Abrams is a hack. Anyway, getting back to getting back to the episode, after she
Yeah.
defeats Elspeth, they have the whole town has like a Return of the Jedi victory party,
Hmm.
and they have like this like strange flute remix of the theme song.
That was kind of dope. I like that.
I liked it, but like it reminded me a lot of the Return of the Jedi victory party because they also had like a flute song, you know. So I feel like that was like an intentional reference,
Yep.
or maybe it's just something people do in this universe, like get the flute guy. Something good happened. I just maybe it's just some custom they have. I don't know.
That's funny.
So Ahsoka kind of goes back on her word here, and she's like, "Actually, I'm not going to train Baby Yoda because he's too emotionally attached to Mando." And she kind of does this because she realizes that emotional attachments could turn you into the dark side, because that's what happened to Anakin in the prequels.
Hmm.
He so she doesn't want to go through that again because like Anakin.
Understandably, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of a good scene because, like, I mean, that's a good scene for people who haven't seen the Clone Wars, but for people who has, it's kind of sad because, like, they were like best friends, you know,
Yeah.
and it's
There's
kind of
so much
sad.
behind that line, you know? Like a
Yeah,
whole, 7 seasons just kind of rests behind that line.
yeah, and she doesn't want to go through that again. So I
Yeah.
feel like, I don't know, I feel like that was a good scene.
Now this part, Jacob, is where this is the part where I realized, how much can be done with these TV shows is when she says to send him to the planet Tython and sit on the Seeing Stone, and then he could pick his future. Obviously, I'm assuming that uh, Grogu is gonna pick the Way of the Jedi because that'll further advance the show forward, in my opinion. Because like if he just quits, then it's gonna be like, okay, like what's the point, you know?
I
Um,
mean, man, I mean, Ahsoka herself quit and her character went on, so
I
I feel
mean,
like
yeah,
anything's possible.
but I think that, and she also said like, maybe a Jedi will feel her connection and come back. So I think there's 3 options, maybe 4 that I thought of that could come back. One, which I think is the realistic route, is either Ezra Bridger or Cal Kestis is going to come. And then fan service route, which is what I would love, is to see either a de-aged Luke Skywalker that
That would
doesn't.
look terrible.
I think it could work. The technology is getting a lot better, and then
No,
also
Rise of
Mace.
Skywalker, it looked horrible. Like,
I thought it looked pretty decent.
oh no, it looked weird. Okay, go on.
And then also Mace Windu. I think there's a possibility that he could come
He
back.
like faked his death or something.
Yeah, not faked it, but just got scared when it like maybe when he got thrown out the window because like how many Jedi have fallen and they all survive. Every Jedi's like gotten their hand cut off and electrocuted. Like it's not like a unique thing to happen. And then also
Maybe he'll have an eye patch.
yeah, maybe that'd be kind of dope. Yeah, really that'd be funny. But I think that the storyline they could go with, in my opinion, I think this is how I would do it if I were the guys. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm it's a good idea, but and I kind of
Well,
I'm
what
I'm
if?
basing this off of what Star Wars Theory said, but maybe Mace got shot out the window, and then
Yeah.
when Order 66 started, Mace Windu possibly could have taken the child and went into
Hmm.
hiding, and then somehow
Yeah, because that was on Coruscant.
yeah, maybe somehow they got separated. And I think the most poetic thing, and I got this from a YouTube video, would be, because Boba Fett got introduced in the first episode this season. I think what
Yeah.
could happen is, Boba Fett and Mace Windu have a reunion, and then Boba Fett kills Mace, which would kind of be very,
Ooh,
it'd be a
I don't
very,
think he'd have a chance against
think
Mace
about, think
Windu.
about how poetic that would be, though, because Mace killed
I
his
know, but
father,
like,
which, I don't know. I think that'd be
I
a
don't think
pretty
I don't
cool,
think Boba Fett would have a chance against Mace Windu.
really.
Because I mean, one's like a Jedi Knight who was well, a Jedi Master who's been doing this for like 40 years and he's like really experienced, and the other one is just a bounty hunter. That's like, I don't know.
I
I
guess
feel
we'll,
like it's like too uneven.
yeah, I
But
guess we'll
I
find
guess we'll
out, though.
find out
I
if
mean,
that does happen. I don't know. What
yeah.
I think might happen is maybe like later down the line, Baby Yoda decides he doesn't want to be a Jedi, but he gets trained under Ahsoka, not as a Jedi, but as like a gray Jedi or like a neutral person, you know? because
Hmm.
she's not really a Jedi or a Sith, and she could kind of train him to be somewhere in the middle. I don't know. That's what I was thinking when I saw that.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Yeah.
so she gives Mando the big spiel, and he flies off, and the episode ends. So,
Yeah, I give that a solid A. It was a
oh, A
good
plus for
episode.
me. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, man. Good stuff.
Um, I love Filoni's directing and his use of the forest landscapes
Hmm.
because it's a nice change of scenery from the usual desert landscapes. Because usually we're either on like a desert or a spaceship, and I felt like putting it in the forest was a nice change, you know.
Yeah, it was nice.
And it kind of shows like the bounds of what television could do.
Well, that and also like I mean, like I said, man, like they could do pretty much anything. Because I don't know if you saw like the way that they shoot the TV show, but the majority of it is like inside of this thing called the volume, and they can put them in any environment like possible.
Hmm.
So I think that it's like what they could do is pretty much endless. So I'm excited to see
Something
the theme of because like because we're coming to the end of season 2 now. We still got 3 more episodes, but I mean after this I'm curious to see what season 3 will look like because obviously like they're giving they're raising the budget each year because it's
very popular.
the
Yeah.
most popular TV show on Disney Plus. I think they said it's 5 times more popular than any other like movie or TV show on Disney Plus.
I mean, it's like the only thing Disney Plus has to offer lately
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
until WandaVision. Um, but okay, so what I like about like how every episode has a different sort of landscape is okay. Something I didn't like about the Rise of Skywalker, one of the many things, was that they'd have so many different planets, but only be there for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, that
You know,
was
they'd be like they'd jump around too much. They'd be like boom, 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 boom.
the corporate
This
screwed up that movie bad because it was supposed to be like 3 to 3 hours and 30 minutes, and they chopped it down to like just over 2 hours. So it just the pacing of that movie sucked.
Yeah, well, like I don't know. I feel like television could make that work because they could have like a half an hour on each planet, so you get
Exactly.
it's kind of cool. Because
Yep.
I guess something else that pulled it off well was the Empire Strikes Back, because they had like Hoth, the ice planet, and then they also had like that asteroid and a Death Star. Well, whatever that thing is, the Imperial thing,
Yeah, and then they had
and they
Bespin.
had Cloud City.
I think that's my favorite planet is Cloud City.
I
Bespin.
gotta say Coruscant. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like learning about the Jedi and stuff they used to do.
Yeah.
So Rosario Dawson, I felt like she was awesome as Ahsoka. I was kind of excited for this anyway because she was in Daredevil, which is like a superhero show, like a Marvel show that was on Netflix,
Mhm.
and she was in it. So I already knew she was a good actress, but I was always worried, like, I don't know if she could pull off Ahsoka because she's like an orange person. She's like an
Hmm.
orange person with big like white stuff on her head. So I didn't know how that could translate into television well. Like I
I
know
think
they had
they
wonderful people in Attack of the Clones, but like it was from
they
a
did a
distance,
really
you
really good
know?
job in my opinion. I think that this is probably as good as it could have gotten.
Yeah.
At first I was like, oh man, like she's like really like monotone compared to the jumpy Ahsoka we used to see before in the Clone Wars. But I also thought to myself like, how many years have passed since her best
Yeah, and she
friend
was
fell to
also
the dark side, and so much stuff has happened. So
a lot
obviously
of her friends died,
she's
you
gonna be a
know?
lot less happy. You know what I mean? So I think Rosario Dawson probably played it as good as it could have been, in my
And
opinion.
even the little subtle things I noticed were a lot like Ahsoka, because you know how Ahsoka always did that like neck thing? Well, she'd like, I don't know, kind of wiggle her neck a bit and move her arms.
No, I don't know
I
what you
don't know.
mean.
It's just like some little like animation thing they did with her. I
Oh,
noticed that Rosario Dawson did that in one scene, and I felt like that was intentional. Like to kind of move those shoulders a bit, like the same way Ahsoka did.
oh, okay.
Maybe I'm just insane, but I feel like that's something to notice.
I did one thing I did notice that was very similar was when she jumped on top of the roof and she started running backwards while like hitting him away, and I was like, well, that's very similar to how Ahsoka would be in combat. And then also like she smirked one time, like her smile. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was pretty similar.
yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean,
Um.
I overall, man, I
So
enjoyed the episode a lot. It was a lot better than I thought it would be. I was nervous at how they would pull it off, but I think they did a really
yeah.
solid job.
What do you think we'll see either Ahsoka or Bo-Katan later this season, or do
I
you think we're
think
gonna have to wait till season 3?
I'm thinking we might get a season 1 where each character's kind of introduced in a different episode, and then they all come together for like the finale of the
Oh,
season.
kind of like Carl Weathers and Cara Dune
I
last
think
year.
what's gonna happen is here's my prediction, and we'll see if I'm right. I think they're gonna go to Tython, Mandalorian, and Grogu. They're, something's gonna happen there, and then Moff Gideon's gonna intercept it, and somehow Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Kara, and Greef are all gonna come together and do some sort of battle. But we'll see.
I hope that like we see Ahsoka and Bo-Katan fight Gus Fring, or whatever
That,
his name is,
that'd be
Moff Gideon.
awesome. Moff Gideon, yeah.
I just know him from Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad. He's always hit like when like you watch a show and like you remember someone from that show, and then like for every other movie you see him in, you just think of him as that.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like that. Like I don't know. So yeah, that's probably that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Do you want to say anything else about this episode?
Oh man, I pretty much covered everything.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining me. This was
Thanks for having me
pretty
on,
fun.
man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So, what do you guys think in the comments down below? Let me know. I'll be posting these videos every Saturday. Everybody have a nice day and stay safe. See ya.
Take care, man.